Hello everyone who's ever wanted to look trouble straight in the face and shoot it. That's bad out of context. I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths and some more scientific combat testing. Technically there's other things I should be doing right now, but I really wanted to get this video done and out of the way because it's been bugging me. This is the rematch, APS versus Plasma, because in the last test we did, APS versus Plasma, with two rather nice looking ships beating the snot out of each other, people pointed out a few ways in which the test could be made better. Number one, frontsiders rather than broadsiders. Number two, what was number two? I forget. Like that was the main thing, is pointing out that Plasma has a very specific job, and that is to counter flying bricks. So here we are with two almost identical flying bricks, one of them armed with Plasma, that's the fellow here on the right, and one of them armed with APS. So these two thruster craft are pretty much identical in every single way, except the weapons are different. In fact, because they're identical, the APS craft has more steam turbines than it actually needs, because it turns out railguns don't need as much juice as Plasma does. And I hate to ask this, but please share this video with all your FTD-inclined friends, because this is like the third or fourth attempt at building test vehicles for this, because as it turns out, I plumb forgot how to make flying bricks and frontsiders in general, so I basically had to relearn that because, for whatever reason, I'd forgotten. These are not perfect, by the way. In fact, they're a long way from perfect. All the armor is on the front. Just with a whole bunch of delicious wedges, as you do. And on the top, bottom, and sides, it's just a layer of heavy armor and a layer of metal, and that's it. In fact, over the jets, there's just one heavy armor duct, and that's it. So that's really not bricky enough. They are bouncy, though, so they do have that going for them. They bounce up and down, and that's very nice. The strafing is just a complete... I completely muffed that, it's the wrong button, because they're not lined up with the center of mass, which means it doesn't strafe particularly well. It's countered by the yaw jets. But yeah, this is the internals of them. Good practice for building frontsiders, actually, this whole test right here. Lots of custom jets down the middle, symmetrical, redundant AIs controlling everything, lots of steam turbines. I actually had to... I did math badly, and I needed to essentially extend this thing at the front in order to fit more steam turbines in there, in order to get this damn Plasma set up. And it's on a turret with redundant local weapon controllers, because that's fun to do. And yeah, that's just handy-dandy. The stats for the Plasma, well, you can see them down there. Max projectile speed, 7 charges per shot. That's the other thing that people pointed out to me, is that Plasma is at its most damage efficient when it does roughly 6,000 damage per shot, because there's very severe diminishing returns with, like, the Plasma explosion chain reaction. So yeah, about 7 charges is about the optimum thing to do, and then from there you just make the thing fire faster and focus down specific parts of the craft, and that seems to do the trick nicely. Over here on the APS craft, yeah, this is a turret, so it's a little bit funky. So you can see the stats there. It is a 36mm gun, about 794 rail use per shot, and over 1,000 RPM, 1,314 to be exact. And there's two different shells here, just for giggles. One, we have a Sabot armor-piercing head, because this is kind of the main rival you can think of to Plasma for shooting at heavily armored targets. And it's also the thing that a lot of flying bricks are kind of built to counter, that heavy armor wedge spam. And just for giggles, and this might be a bit of a mistake, but whatever, is railgun hollow point. Now, so hollow point isn't really that good at at this gauge. 36mm is a bit small, because the whole point is that it destroys one block, and then the damage spills over, and it destroys another one. But it'd be nice to contrast thump damage with APS with Plasma damage with Plasma, and that'd be fine. And also because hollow point is just kind of fun. It's not the best, most meta shell, but it is fun. So yeah, there are our two craft, and we should absolutely go hop into the custom battle setup in order to custom battle them. So, I will see you there. Alrighty tighty. Ready for fighty. Here we are, custom battle, simulator. We got the APS craft on the left, we got the plasma craft on the right. These are both bouncy airships, so this might take a while, and let's see what happens. So immediately, APS is copying it, because plasma is doing what it does best. Both of these craft kind of bounce up and down in order to be evasive. But because the plasma craft has much faster projectiles, yeah, that is definitely winning. Let's follow these shells over. What's happening here? Also shields. Plasma is less inconvenienced by shields than APS is. Because shells that bounce off shields do 0 damage, whereas plasma still does some damage. So yeah, this is very much an interest. Well, this is kind of... Also, by the way, the shields here, I'm not getting any prizes for that, I acknowledge. These shield hubs are questionable at best. And also, I should mention, the APS craft over there is using belt-fed loaders. And now that I think about it, like, honestly, 2-meter shells are just better kinetic shells overall, so I'm not sure what I'm even doing anymore. Oh boy, will I ever do a test that'll satisfy everyone and everything. Right, so there you can see this gun is reloading. Is it even aiming? I think it is. So that's a major problem. That's a major oversight that I have. Am I going to have to do this again, but with actually good APS? Is this going to be a very meta best of 3? Also, like, I guess I get 1 mark for, like, setting it up like this. Or building like this, because the moment the weapons are gone, you know, you just know. You know that you're done and over. Whoa, interesting. Yeah, plasma is definitely winning this one. This is just what plasma was made for. It's also just because it's so much more compact. And also because I've actually made it correctly for once. Yeah, the shields make a huge difference. Those angled shields, you can see, like... Yeah, most shots are getting through, but you can see that's kind of like... Oh, wow! Kind of thought both guns were disabled, but I guess not. Also, I should mention that... both of these things are set to, like, focus down one block and aim at it for about 60 seconds, so they hyper-focus down blocks, so they, like, dig tunnels into each other. This guy's starting to have pitch problems, isn't he? Oh dear. Uh-oh. Flanking! Whoa, yep, that's plasma shots right there. Oh no! You're trying to reverse away! And this is the downside of this design I have, is that if it pitches up and down even slightly, it shows its soft, squishy underbelly, or overbelly, also known as the top. Yeah, I really don't see how the APS craft is going to do this. Maybe if I used AP heat, it would be a lot better, but I didn't want to, like, throw heat into the mix. Perhaps I should have. Let me know if you want to see a rematch of this, because, like, I don't know. Like, there's so many different ways. You actually don't build an APS-focused craft the same way you do a plasma craft, so that is the downside of testing like this. You don't get 100% accurate results, I guess. But it's the best I can do. Somebody did comment and saying, like, you should have it material equivalent, because, by the way, the APS craft is considerably cheaper. It's around 600,000 materials, and the plasma craft is around 700,000 materials. The problem with making it material equal is then you have to build 2, like, identical craft, so to speak, or at least make the weapon system that, which requires building, well, no matter how you do it, you end up having to build 2 different craft, which is a lot more time consuming, and it introduces a whole bunch more variables, like, given that I'm the one building the thing, like, I could end up doing a much better job on one than the other. And I think, yeah, that's... Yeah, the barrel's been taken off completely, so yeah. In under 5 minutes, yeah, the plasma craft absolutely has taken this. This very much appears to be... This is where plasma shines. It's just like if you're dealing with frontsiders and dealing with stuff that's trying to do stuff with shields and heavy armor wedges and that kind of thing. Because it tore through that front so much faster than the APS could do in return. So yeah, let's do another one. It's best of 3. I don't know how many rounds we're gonna do, but we'll have to see. I'm not even sure how we'll do more. I don't think we'll do a multiple on one. But yeah, that's the plasma craft. So yeah, righty ho, round 2. Here we go. Here we go. See, yep, and immediately, just because those plasma shots are so much faster, they just hit the target first. Like, that's one of the huge advantages of plasma. It's so easy just to get those projectiles to go like 2,000 meters per second, like 2,400 meters per second. It doesn't even like make it cost that much more energy to use. And then, yeah, you can almost be guaranteed of getting the first hit in. And already, like, yeah, the APS craft is really copping it. And these are fast shells, you know, like, the AP shells are like almost 2,000 meters themselves. So yeah, it's a big deal. I do kind of like this design. I built this, or rather I built the plasma one first, and then got frustrated and deleted it, and then realized, oh no, that's the best I can do at the moment. And so thank goodness for From the Depths autosave. Yeah, wow, plasma, like, front-sider versus front-sider. Plasma gives you a huge advantage, it seems. Especially against heavy armor wedges, because remember, they don't have 6,000 health. They only have about... How much do they have? They have about 3,000? So, if your plasma shot does 3,000 damage, it takes out 2 of them. And I think an AP shell, like, is gonna... You'll struggle to do that with the same, in the same volume. Did you just... Wow, that was even faster than last time. Yeah, wow, that's just immediately... That possibly is a consequence of how I've designed these things, but hey, it makes for a fast fight. Plasma just took that... Yeah, and look at this. It's, not even really scratched, honestly. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, this was a much shorter video. Turns out that optimized plasma is no joke, as opposed to the not very optimized plasma that I made. I don't think we need to do a more than one, because, you know, this is very obvious. Like, when it comes to busting wedges of delicious cheese, plasma absolutely shreds it. So yeah, there you go. Plasma versus APS. It turns out, if you use weapon systems for what they're actually supposed to do, then they're pretty good. Admittedly, I think that if the APS craft was armed with a heat and hesh instead of what we had here, it would be very different. You know what? I think I'm actually gonna try that just the bonus round. So let's go do that in the bonus round. It should take like approximately like no time whatsoever to set up. Just to show that maybe it's the design of the craft that is making it like this. So let's just go APS, and we're just going to change some shells around. So we're going to swap the AP shells for heat. So let's just go... Admittedly, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a little bit slower. And the heat penetration metric needs to be a lot higher, about 42. And it's going to be called heat. Whoops. Caps lock is on. And then the hollow point is going to be same thing but different. It's going to be hash. Let's see how different this is. And admittedly, like, this isn't a good railgun shell because it's not using that kinetic damage to any advantage. But hey, maybe it will be. Let's also change the tracer colors just for giggles. Just for giggles. Hash can be orange. There we go. And heat can be yellow. Let's save this thing. Hold on. Let's just check. Should be exactly the same as it was before. 13, 14. And 13, 14. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect. And we're just going to save that as APS heat hash. And let's just hop back. I don't know why I saved again, that's paranoid. And let's hop back here, set that up again, and see what happens, because I'm curious. And plasma, and altitude, apply to team, and let's go! Because we had enough time for fun and activity. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Because Plasma is still, you know, the game didn't get patched in the meantime. Okay, you know what's a good idea is actually setting them up to be apply to all. Thank you very please. There you are, there you are. And go! This doesn't appear to be making a huge difference. Although, what's that? That's rubber. Oh, hello. Yeah, wow, that does not appear to be doing anything particularly interesting. Although, oh, hello. Just taking out stuff on the back there. No, Plasma is still winning. Plasma is very much still winning. By the looks of it. Yeah, that's, yeah, those wedges counter heat and hash pretty well. What the hell was that? Rubber. Delicious rubber. Yep, looks like APS is still, even in the bonus round here. Yep, nope, not doing enough damage, not doing enough damage fast enough. What was that? Woo! Yeah, nope, 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 nope. Maybe my shells are bad. Let me know what you think, whether this test could be made even better, because that's like, on the first one with ships, APS absolutely swept it. And this time, with the front-siders, looks like Plasma is absolutely tearing ass through this, so... yeah. Let's follow over here, like... it's entirely possible as well that those heat and hash shells are just too small to do any real damage. Also, disruptors would actually be a very good idea here. Those shields are actually doing work. Like, here's the thing with shield projectors. I hate them, but you've got to admit that, like, on a front-sider like this, where you know exactly where enemy shots are going to be landing most of the time, it makes a huge difference. It really does. Let's go back over here. They're not circling each other so much as, yeah, and look, yep. Now they're bouncing up and down. And now the pitch control has been messed with. Yep. Whoa, okay, yeah, that looked important. Yeah, wow, like, yeah, even worse. even worse result. Yeah, man, that's, Unless you get an incredibly lucky AI kill with that. What? That's the Hesh, I think it is. I don't think it's gonna work. And both of these things I tested just against an Eerie, just to see how well they do. And, yeah, both of them can win, but the Plasma was noticeably better at it, because that's what Plasma does best. It, like, if you are silly enough to keep pointing just, if you, like, against compact craft like this, it just works really well. It also helps that I actually did, like, you know, set it up correctly with how much steam turbine is necessary for it. Right, so these guys apparently strafe just enough to make life difficult for targeting, by the looks of it. Whee! And since we're having fun here, and this video is actually way shorter than I thought it would be. I thought these guys would be hammering each other for ages, but no. The Plasma's like, yeah, nah, like, you know what I'm good for, and I'm gonna demonstrate that to you right now. So, I think Plasma's not only a good weapon against frontsiders, it's also a good weapon for them, because, you know, if it's, like, shooting down at things from an angle is great, for Plasma, because it doesn't like shooting through water, and it's just, it makes a huge mess, like, of other front-sided. So yeah, this is, that Plasma thing over there is effectively the prototype for something, potentially something else. Also, yeah, I am gonna have to make a flying brick tutorial, aren't I, now that I'm getting a little bit better at it. I've had some practice, as you can see. Hopefully I get good enough at it so they can be actually good. Huh. How about that? I truly thought this would be a longer fight. Yeah, I guess fights aren't that long if the plasma guns are actually set up correctly. If that plasma manages to take out the pitch control, that will be hilarious. Because then this thing will kind of belly flop into the ocean. Uh-oh. Somebody is having control issues. Yeah, the weapons are gone. Let that be a lesson to you, by the way, is like you might not want to put... I don't know, I'm unclear. Like, I think really, if you want to copy, like, the basic design of a flying brick, the Pyre is the way to go, because that thing is just nothing but heavy armor beams, basically, and then just everything else is just kind of to the side or well behind all the heavy armor beams. So, yeah. Probably the way to go. Plasma is very satisfying, I do have to say. Look at that. It is impressive how this thing is still flying, though. Like, when in doubt, go absolutely nuts on the custom jets when you're making things like this, because it's better to have too much than too little. Because if you have too much, that's redundancy. Redundancy, also known as refundancy. Please ignore the fire control computers on the back here. That's for reasons, I swear. I also could have set these things up to target hot blocks, and that would have been probably quite interesting. They would have, like, ripped each other in half because of all those custom jets just down the middle. So yeah, fun, fun, fun. And they didn't even have smoke or anything on them like that. This thing is gonna die. If this thing dies while still flying, I am gonna be quite pleased with myself, because that's the mark of a good flying brick. If it dies flying, it should not belly flop into the ocean unless the custom jets are specifically being targeted. Also, I do kind of like the way these craft ended up looking. They did look kind of through an example of convergent design, kind of like how a Scarlet Dawn craft kind of looks like. Whee! Pew, 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 pew. Whee! I actually want to see the internals here. How damaged is all this? Not very, actually, so... I guess just having like a skin of metal over heavy armor is like, it's a lot better than nothing. It's at least standing up reasonably well to this plasma barrage. It is getting kind of shreked from underneath though, so that is a bit of an issue. And 2 damaged. So, there you go. Plasma is just like, no question, in this test, Plasma just demonstrated just how much better it is, how much better it is at dealing with, you know, heavy armor frontsiders. How much, like, it's, if you want to take down a flying brick, Plasma's your port of call. Look at this, like, literally just the paint is scratched, and she's lost, like, 19 blocks in total. That's, this thing is way more heat and hash-proof than I anticipated. At least from the front. So yeah, that's definitely, well, that's very interesting. What did we learn here today? Plasma is good at the thing it was designed to do. Who would have thought? Well done, devs. You succeeded. So, on that merry note, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell.